Hey guys, welcome to the first episode of We Talk You Listen, and I'm Mignaga.
This is Tricky.
I'm Deadly Virus.
And I'm Noob.
And today on our first podcast, we figured we should probably introduce ourselves a little bit so you guys can get to know us a little better. And so that's what we're going to do. We're going to talk about our favorite systems, our favorite games, and other points of interest. I think I'll get things started by saying my favorite system of all time is probably the N64. My favorite game of all time is Majora's Mask, which is also on the N64. And I'm also a huge anime fan. And yeah.
Hey guys, this is Tricky. I grew up a Sega kid, so I'm a huge Sega fan. Favorite system of all time is the Sega Dreamcast. Favorite game of all time is Final Fantasy VII, although some people in this podcast would argue differently. And I'm also pretty big into anime and manga as well.
13 for the win.
Alright, moving on to me, I am Deadly Virus. My favorite system, probably the Nintendo GameCube, for various reasons. My three favorite games would be Metal Gear Solid 3, GTA San Andreas, and Pokemon Crystal. Other points of interest, I do a lot of PC gaming, I love to watch movies with my friends, and I'm into a bit of anime.
Hey guys! So, I'm more of a portable gamer. My favorite systems generally include the Game Boy Advance SP and Nintendo DS. My favorite video games tends to change often, so this week it seems to be Final Fantasy VI. Other points of interest include anime, animation, manga, and hopefully I'm not alone when I say this, but K-pop.
Where you are.
No, you're not alone. I also enjoy K-pop, but I do prefer J-pop, I'm sorry.
You also prefer Final Fantasy VII? I'm not sure if you have the right to an opinion right now.
I will throw down my microphone, and I will beat you right now, if I have to.
Okay, so if you guys don't know, Tricky's kind of old, so if Grandpa tries to go up against me, Grandpa's going down.
Why don't we list off our ages here so people can get an idea?
Oh, well, I'm 20.
I'm 16.
I'm 17.
Well, 17? What?
Yep.
You are 1 year older than me, that is hard to believe.
Because you got a radio announcer voice.
How much older are you, Tricky?
I'm 28, so I'm 8 years older than you are. But that still makes you the second oldest, so it doesn't matter.
Grandpa, you were playing video games before any of us were born. Don't even.
Oh, please, Grandpa. Whatever. Anyways, guys, we got a pretty good show planned out for today, so hopefully you guys stick around, regardless of our antics, and listen to what we have to say.
So yeah, do you guys want to lead into that Wii U overview that we're planning on doing?
Sounds good.
Yeah, well, we've definitely have missed a lot of information, so I think it's about time we play catch-up just to get up to speed on everything.
Right, so just to go over the overview of it, hardware facts will be done by Mignaga, hardware rumors by... Wait, what are we doing about that? Because this is listed as Soul and he obviously isn't present.
Oh yeah, we should probably mention the fact that Soulburst decided that he was too cool for the first podcast and didn't want to come on, so he's not here today.
Yeah, that was totally it.
Soulburst is too busy playing Okami.
Yeah, why don't we all just explain why Okami is the worst game of all time, and yeah. So I'll go first and just say that I'm just kidding, I like Okami.
Yeah, Okami's a great game, but you'll probably hear us bash on Soul quite a bit because he is an Okami fanatic.
I love you, Soul. So, diving into what we were going to talk about, we will start off with Mignaga.
Alrighty, so some of the things that I wrote down about hardware were the disk space is going to be 25 gigabytes, which I think is the equivalent of a Blu-ray. Is that correct, guys?
Yeah, I believe it was actually specifically stated it was the same as Blu-ray.
Alrighty, cool. Another thing that I personally find cool, but I'm pretty sure nobody else will, is that discs are read at a rate of 22 megabytes per second, which is a really big improvement over the 360's 15.85 and the PS3's 9. And if you don't know what this means, that means that load times are going to be significantly lower because it can read more data at a faster rate. So it'll just be easier for consoles to load stuff.
That's actually pretty awesome. I didn't actually know that. I was just going to say, I actually hadn't heard of that before.
Yeah, it's pretty cool. Alright, so another thing that I researched was the fact that it has a total of 2 gigabytes of RAM, one of which is going to be used exclusively for games, and one of which will be used for the operating system. Once again, this is a huge improvement over the 360 and PS3's RAM. They both have 512 megabytes of RAM, so it's almost double what the 360 and PS3 have. Another thing that I have written down is that it's being run by an IBM power processor. I don't know what that means, so yeah, because I don't know much about processors, but...
Do we have any tech guys in this podcast?
Yeah, they haven't actually given specifics on the IBM, other than that they believe it's going to be a 3-core IBM power processor, which, I mean, it's just processing-wise, it's going to be similar, it'd be no different if they were using like an Intel or an AMD chip. It's just IBM's making the chips.
Alrighty. So anyways, it's also going to be running an AMD Radeon graphics card, which I think is pretty good. Am I right on that?
Depends on the kind of it, but I've heard it's pretty good.
It's still shrouded. They haven't really said what it is. I mean, the high-end cards are fairly decent up there with the NVIDIAs, but again, they haven't really said what's being used, so I'm sure that they'll keep that a secret until last minute.
What I've actually heard is the graphics card is actually one of the best parts about the Wii U. Like, I think I heard a rumor that most of the investment into it has gone towards the graphics card and not towards the CPU, which is part of why it's supposed to be less powerful.
I've actually heard that. I mean, that's actually, if you look at the creators of Warriors of Orochi 3, he was saying about it that unfortunately the CPU being a weak point makes it so you can't have as much going on screen at the same time while keeping a high FPS rate. But having the better graphics card allows for graphics that are far superior to what the PS3 and the 360 have.
Cool. So anyways, the system's going to come in 2 models. You guys probably already know this, but there's going to be a 32 gig model and an 8 gig model. However, the memory can be greatly expanded up to 3 terabytes by external hard drives or SD cards, although I don't know where you would find a 3 terabyte SD card, but if you can find one, I guess that works. The controller has a 6.2-inch 16:9 touchscreen, a front-facing camera, microphone, speakers, rumble features, and a sensor bar, a stylus, and the ability to use NFC, which is that cool feature where you can, kind of like Skylanders, where you just put something on it and it reads it through a wireless card of some sort. The controller weighs approximately 1.1 pounds. The controller operates as a universal TV remote that can be used without turning on the console. It supports up to 1080p through an HDMI cable, and almost all Wii games and controllers will be compatible with the Wii U.
So I want to know, how well do you think the Wii U will hold up against future PlayStation and Xbox consoles?
Well, I've kind of stated my views on this before, but I believe Nintendo has already stated they're not going for a heavy power route, but it still remains to be seen what Sony and Microsoft are going to do. I think if they too decide to not necessarily go for a powerhouse console, then the Wii U will probably do fine in that regard. Like people have said, the graphics card is supposed to be very good. So I think at least graphically it can probably stand up to it in many regards. So it should do fine.
I would say Nuno went right for the jugular with like the bomb question that everyone's been asking, and I will say I think it's going to hold up pretty well for a couple of reasons. That I mean, people who say that the next generation PS4 720 is going to blow the Wii U out of the water. Obviously, they know something that we don't, because even Microsoft and Sony hasn't revealed any information on their next consoles. And I mean, who knows? We don't even know what stages they're in. And since Nintendo hasn't given information on their hardware per se, they don't even know what really to gauge against. So I mean, they're either going to be way out there or they're going to be close. So I think Nintendo's smart in holding their system specs close to their chest. So keep Sony and Microsoft kind of sweating.
Yeah, I think it'll definitely be able to hold up against next-gen consoles. The reason for that is I think they've kind of learned their lesson to some extent with the Wii and how little third-party support that got. And already what they've shown off is pretty technically impressive. So I don't think that it's really going to be that big of a problem, especially since all the engines that are being used for games on there are engines that are being used for 360 and PS3 games, we really haven't seen what the Wii U can do yet. So I have a feeling it'll be a while before we really see something incredible.
I think Nintendo is going to be just fine. I mean, the PlayStation 3 has yet to have its like full capacity and potential completely explored, and this is excluding the Fox engine, of course. So because our generation has yet to reach its fullest potential, I think it's a bit unfair to automatically say that Nintendo is going to be kind of screwed for next generation. And I honestly do feel that they'll be just fine for a couple of years to come, regardless of whether or not they'll be the weakest of the three.
Yeah, I think people just need to wait. As soon as we all know that Retro is working on something, and Nintendo ED is working on something. I mean, you just wait till you have an internal or a second party studio come out building a game from the ground up with the Wii U. And I mean, there are rumors going around that Retro is working on an engine, but I don't know. I mean, you've heard conflicting reports. Who knows if that's true or not? But I mean, yeah, I think given a solid year going into like 2013 holiday, I think we might see some real power being shown on the Wii U.
I definitely think when the other next-gen systems come out, we will see a lot more graphically intensive games showing up on the Wii U. Simply because it's gonna like kind of open the floodgates for more. Because at the moment, no one's really trying to push graphics too hard at the moment. So it makes sense that what people are doing with the Wii U is kind of more on the safe side. They're not really trying to push into the next gen just yet, which is something I was a bit disappointed with, but you can understand why it's happening.
Well, yeah, if you look at launch 360 titles, most of them look like just HD PS2 titles. They don't look all that graphically impressive, and you look at what they have now with like Halo 4, for example, and it's just incredible what the difference between the two has been. So I have a feeling that's what will happen with the Wii U.
Absolutely.
Yeah, I kind of feel the same.
That's definitely something we see happen to a lot of new consoles being released, though, and I think it's a bit unfair for us to judge the graphics capabilities of the Wii U based off its launch titles, seeing as a lot of these games are in development as the Wii U is still being finalized. So we definitely have to wait a couple of years until we can see the complete graphic capabilities of this thing.
Absolutely correct. I mean, you look at the fact that even games that are going to be not ported over. I mean, your system exclusives like Zombie U have not been in development for super long, and I mean, most developers send out multiple variations of development kits. I mean, the first of dev kit's never the end-all dev kit. There's always a couple revisions they have while they're changing things and really working it out. So, yeah, I definitely think we're not probably going to see a really major graphically awesome title until you have a team with the finished hardware, with the finished dev kit that really has a lot of time with a new engine. And whether that's with the new Cry engine, which we've heard potentially would run on it, whether we're going to get the new Unreal Engine, we don't know all this stuff. And like Deadly said, I'm thinking that I agree that we're probably going to see more visually intense games come out when the 720 and PS4, if that's what they're going to be called, comes out. Because right now, the Wii U, the best graphic games are probably going to be most likely system exclusives developed from the ground up for them. And then once you have the next gen of hardware that catches up to the Wii U, you're going to see more system releases across the board, the same game coming out for all three.
And one thing a lot of people don't know is that Zombie U actually started off as a 360 and PS3 title. So even with that game that's being developed exclusively for it, it's not going to be showing off the Wii U to its fullest extent.
Yeah, not to mention that it originally started off as Killer Freaks from Outer Space, and then they switched over, and now I've been actually hearing that they're planning Killer Freaks from Outer Space still, but as kind of like a spiritual sequel to Zombie U.
That would be pretty cool, actually. I wonder if it's actually going to be Wii U exclusive, though, if they will do that.
Who knows, but I figure I don't want to jump too much into that, because Nuno's going to be covering games and stuff a little bit later on. So software-wise, and when I speak about software, I'm talking about the Nintendo TV, that's TVII for those who haven't really heard much on it, and also the Miiverse, and the eShop. Unfortunately, I don't have a whole lot to talk about because these are the most shrouded, coveted secrets Nintendo has right now. I was hoping we'd have a Nintendo Direct coming up soon in which we would actually get information, but we haven't yet. So what we do know, starting with the Miiverse, is that the Miiverse, for the most part, is going to be kind of like the gamer's Facebook, I guess we can call it. We know that as soon as you boot up your Wii U, the Miiverse is going to be there. We know that you are going to be able to see all the Miis of your friends and the games they're playing. It's going to group them into circles, kind of like Google+. So you'll have an icon for New Super Mario Brothers U, and then all your friends playing that will be kind of around there, and you can actually chat and talk with people. We also know that all the games are going to have Miiverse integration, so even single-player games like the New Super Mario Brothers, where you can't play online, you can only play local, you're still going to be able to see, if you're going through a world map, you're going to be able to see your friends, you're going to be able to see how far they've gotten, you can leave notes for them if you're having a hard time with a certain level, etc. But that's really the extent of Miiverse that we know. Again, this is something Nintendo's been keeping close to their chest. They're not giving a whole lot of info. Other than Miiverse, we have the Nintendo TV, which they gave some basic information, but we still don't know exactly how it's going to play out. We do know that it will work with most existing cable and satellite providers. It is basically a system that you'll be able to use to you'll be able to access Netflix, Hulu, YouTube, Amazon videos. You can search right through there. So if you have all those accounts, you can have them stored right inside your Nintendo Wii U and be able to search for programs. You're also going to be able to search through your cable or satellite providers' programs or DVR if you have TiVo. How that's going to work, they haven't said. We don't know if it's going to run through your system or how exactly it's going to be able to find those programs. That's still kind of a secretive thing. Your Wii U gamepad is going to function as a universal controller for this, so you'll actually be flicking through the movies, and if you're on Netflix, you're going to actually be able to sift through all the movies on your gamepad with your finger, so you're not going to have to use a controller to sift through or anything like that. Another cool feature that we know they're going to have is if you're into sports, especially stuff like football, for instance, is while you're watching a game, you can actually get a playbook, like a virtual playbook on your gamepad, and you can flip through it, and you can check out different screens and different plays and stuff like that. You can update your scores and everything like that. But again, this is really as much as we know on the TV program. They really haven't showed how it's going to be integrated with their cable or satellite provider at all. So who knows? Your guess is as good as mine. Last thing is the eShop. From what we know, eShop is going to be basically the same. There's a 3DS that's going to be the groundwork for the Wii U eShop. It's going to have demos, trailers, and full retail games, and downloadable titles, and downloadable content. Outside of that, there's really, there's really nothing else in the software front. We know it's all, honestly, there's not even any speculation because Nintendo hasn't told us anything. So, yeah, guys have anything at all? Any questions?
Yeah, I actually had wanted to add that TV has been confirmed for compatibility with all US and Canada cable providers and satellite providers. Only US and Canada.
Yeah, that's correct. It's only North America for the time being. They did say that they will be adding it to later regions, but at launch anyways, it's going to be US and Canada.
Well, one of the most interesting things, sort of, but something they haven't covered is what the actual dashboard of the Wii U is going to be. But apparently someone has actually come out and said here, there's been a rumor, it's apparently quite similar to the 3DS and Wii dashboards, so I assume it's going to have the whole channel system in some way. But it's going to exist alongside Miiverse, apparently, and there's going to be a feature where you can have Miiverse on one screen, on the TV or the gamepad, and the dashboard on another, and presumably you'll be able to switch between the two, which is quite interesting, I think, because it would have been rather annoying if you had to switch between them. I don't know, I just think it's quite an innovative thing. There's also the rumor about GameCube games appearing on the Virtual Console, and Reggie actually commented on that. He seems quite interested in it. But again, there hasn't really been anything officially confirmed. And there was one other thing. Reggie came out around E3 time and said apparently there was a whole thing about friend codes are still going to be in the Wii U, etc. But we still don't know exactly what he means. What I thought was Reggie might have a kind of a different viewpoint on what a friend code is. So I'm not sure if he actually means strictly, like the 30-something digit numbers you have to put in, or if he's just using it as another word to apply to more of a game tag thing. But we can't really know yet. Is there anything you guys want to comment on that?
So we've had confirmation of gamer tag-like systems, and then we've had confirmation of the elimination of friend codes, and then of course we've had both Reggie and Iwata stating the simplified version of friend codes, and all of these are confirmed reports. Therefore, all this back and forth nonsense on what exactly the online system is going to be has been really, really confusing. And I honestly just wish they would come out and say exactly what it's going to be.
That's a problem with all the online systems is everything is shrouded in mystery, like I said before. And to touch up really quick on what Ded did bring up is they did say that when you first boot into the Wii U, it's going to bring you into the Miiverse, and like you said, it's rumored, but supposedly you will be able to have different windows. You'll be able to have the Miiverse up on one, and then like the Mii TV down on another, and it will have a similar system like the 3DS. But again, this is stuff that we don't know, which is why it's rumored. So all I know is that friend codes need to be like drop kicked out of a 10-story window and just left to die.
Yeah.
I do kind of agree with that, but what I think it's not the ideal situation, but what I think could happen is, like the 3DS system, have one friend code for the whole system, and that would be what people add you to their friends list with, but you would be able to have your own unique name, not unique, like basically two people could have the same name because they would still have different friend codes, which could be quite convenient, I think.
Yeah, I like the way the 3DS handles things. It just makes it a lot more convenient. The only thing that I would wish that they would improve upon would be only one person has to type in the friend code, and then a friend invite is sent to the other person. So that way you don't each have to put in your own
I agree.
friend code.
Yeah, my hopes are also that they condense the size of the friend codes. 30-digit numbers, I often get like one number confused and it throws the whole thing off, and it's honestly really annoying.
Yeah, I wouldn't even I wouldn't even mind if when you get the Wii U, because I know they did say that shortly after the Wii U comes out, the 3DS is going to be getting an update to mirror the friend code or quote unquote whatever system they're going to use. So ideally, what I would like to see is generally, we boot up the Wii U, we get into the Miiverse, we create our Mii and our account, and one friend code is kind of given, and then you can log into your 3DS and you put in the code, and that links into your account. And then, from there, you can either add people by username or preferably a shortened version of the friend code, and definitely do away with having both people add it. So who knows? I mean, they haven't really given us any indication of what to expect. So I mean, I'm not expecting it to be similar to a lot of people are thinking if it's going to be gamer tag wise like Xbox, and I don't think so. I mean, I will say though, I love that system. I think having the gamer tags is ideal, and a system emulating that, but with Nintendo's flair, I think would be ideal.
It's obvious that they're going to improve on the online for the Wii U, but my question is, do you think the improved online will, I don't know, maybe change the minds of those who are very anti-Nintendo?
I don't.
In some ways.
I don't think.
Well,
an online system is going to be a really big seller anymore. I mean, it was when the 360 first came out, but nowadays it's just given that it's going to have ones. But I do think people are going to start playing more games on Nintendo systems, which is good. So, yeah.
Yeah, I agree. But you're always going to have those people that, no matter what Nintendo does, they can make the best system in the world. They're still going to hate on it just because it has the Nintendo name on it.
Yeah, that's for sure. I definitely think that having a robust online system will help Nintendo out. I mean, there are a lot of games out there. I mean, face it, like, nobody buys Call of Duty because it has a great story. People buy it because the amount of gameplay you get out of it by playing online with people, the ranking system, having that, come to the Wii U and, being able to play online with other people on other forums. And even, I think, what Nintendo's doing with the Miiverse and technically connecting you with your friends even while you're not playing an online game, I think that alone, I mean, those are two big factors I think are going to bring some people who maybe are Nintendo fans or were Nintendo fans but ended up going with the 360 because of the online system. And the fact of the matter is that unlike the 360 where you get all the perks for free with the exception of the 10% or the 10% back on the eShop for the premium, I mean, it's just far better. It's much more worth it, I think.
I definitely agree with you, Tricky, in that I think Nintendo is trying to make their online help gamers connect more on a social level. Maybe trying to bring us all together in ways you see, like work via Facebook and such. I appreciate the effort and I'm really excited for it.
Yeah, definitely.
So I also wanted to get your thoughts on a topic Tricky talked about earlier, Nintendo TV. Do you think this is Nintendo's way of branching out into other markets?
I don't know. Maybe. I don't think I'll ever personally use Nintendo TV, but I can see a lot of people using it. So, yeah.
I don't think they're trying to push into it too much, but I think they are going to include some kind of those outside gaming aspects just because it's just the thing that everyone seems to do these days. Like, a lot of people do use the 360 and sometimes PS3 and such for Netflix and all that. So to have that on the Wii U and have things like the TV thing is certainly... It's not a system seller, but it does help.
Yeah, it's bringing it's a complete package is what they're trying to do, an entertainment package. Where you can do everything right there. I mean, you think about it from a cost standpoint. I mean, if you look at let's take the PlayStation 3 for instance. I mean, with the PlayStation 3, you got built-in Blu-ray player, you got the ability to stream Netflix. Right away, with someone's thinking, okay, how many people do you know bought a PlayStation 3 to play Blu-rays? And you look at like what the Wii U's trying to do with the TV program and everything on there, being able to use this as basically your media hub through everything, and with the added features it adds, it's like, well, okay, it's like I can do my Hulu, my YouTube, my Netflix, my Amazon Instant Video, and I can run my DVR through this and do all this other stuff, and it gives me added features. It's like, wow, it's like, okay, right away they're adding so much value to that system beyond gaming, and that's where it starts to cater to other people besides gamers. Or you're sitting there playing a game, or you're doing TV, and like your parents come down, or your aunt and uncle's over, or friends over, and I think that's gonna I know a lot of people don't think it's gonna move systems, but I think that might push a lot of people over that edge where maybe they were deciding, is this really right for me, and being like, okay, this added value I think isn't make me want to do it because this is a complete entertainment package.
Yeah, I think you can't really get away with having a game system that just plays games anymore. You have to have the entertainment aspect to it, or a lot of people are going to be stick away from it. So.
Yeah, so moving along onto Wii U games. The launch games include Assassin's Creed 3, Batman Arkham City, Call of Duty Black Ops 2, Darksiders 2, Disney Epic Mickey 2, FIFA Soccer 13, New Super Mario Bros. U, Ninja Gaiden 3, Nintendo Land, Rabbids Land, Scribblenauts Unlimited, Skylanders Giants, Sonic and All-Star Racing Transformed, Tekken Tag Tournament 2, Transformers Prime, Your Shape, Warriors Orochi 3 Hyper, and Zombie U. This is definitely not the complete list. There is more. You can find those at Nintendo.com. If I'm not mistaken, the only games among the launch games that include gamepad-only gameplay are Batman Arkham City and New Super Mario Bros. U. Correct me if I'm wrong.
Actually, I don't even remember where it was, but before we got together, I was reading, and I think there were other games that were verified to be using a gamepad only, and now I'm killing myself thinking about where I saw that.
Yeah, doesn't Mass Effect only use or have the ability to only use the gamepad?
Oh, well, this is for launch titles, not launch
Oh.
windows.
Wait, so can you not use the Pro Controller with Batman?
I'm pretty sure you can. This is for gamepad only gameplay, as in like somebody's watching TV and you can play on your gamepad.
Darksiders 2, Darksiders 2 is also going to have it.
Is Mass Effect 3 not a launch title?
Not anymore. It was pushed back apparently because according to GameStop, they had it listed as coming out the week before, and I have it pre-ordered. But now when they released the official list, now it's in the launch window, so now they don't have anything set for it. So
it's really weird. Like, it's already complete. I don't understand why they can't put it out on the platform day one.
Because it's Electronic Arts. Do you need to ask any more questions?
Let's get on the topic of, real quickly, of course, of that Mass Effect 3, or not Mass Effect 3, Mass Effect trilogy that's not coming to the Wii U. What do you guys think about that? Because I'm pretty angry about it.
I've never get into the Mass Effect series too much, but that is a pretty shitty thing just to say.
Yeah, they're kind of screwing over Nintendo. Not only are they delaying the release of Mass Effect 3, but on top of that, Nintendo is not receiving the trilogy that's going to be released on other consoles.
Yeah, it's pretty much like they're going to get all three. You're going to get 2 comic books and the third game. And I mean, don't get me wrong. No, like I've never played Mass Effect, any of them. I have seen my friends play them, and I was kind of looking forward to 3 on the Wii U because I wanted to give it a try, and I figured having the comic book at the beginning would be great. This doesn't really make me change my mind. I'm still planning on getting Mass Effect 3 when it comes out, but at the same time, I can understand why people are upset, and I think, yeah, this is a really jerky move on Electronic Arts' part, and I will say right now that I've never been a fan of EA ever since, like, the 16-bit days, and I probably never will because of stupid things like this.
Considering I heard a lot of people, when ME3 was first announced for the Wii U, a lot of people said it would be nice to have some kind of trilogy pack, like, exclusively for the Wii U, since it was the console. Like, Nintendo has not gotten any game in the series before, so a lot of people were suggesting this specifically for the Wii U, and then EA comes out and makes it for everything but the Wii U, and it seems a bit stupid.
Yeah, it's really ridiculous. How much do you guys want to bet that EA discredits the Wii U entirely because Mass Effect 3 doesn't sell on the system?
I think that is exactly what's going to happen.
Oh, yeah. I mean, you look at 2, have you guys seen all the rage going on with FIFA 13?
Oh, yeah,
Yes.
The fact that it's the Wii version the same game as the FIFA 12 or something?
Yeah.
Yeah, it's basically the same game with, like, I think they changed just a handful of things, but overall it's pretty much just FIFA 2012.
Luckily, it's just the Wii version, because for them to be disrespecting the Wii U that much at launch would be insane, to be honest. And when I first read that, I thought they were talking about the Wii U version at first, and it was just like, there's already a lot about them cutting stuff from the game and everything, and it's not something I'm particularly interested in, but to see a system that's more powerful than the 360 and PS3 and not really getting all the features it should have, it's kind of off-putting, you know.
I've been curious, being that Mass Effect 3 is no longer in the launch day, but in the launch window. I mean, I don't know if this was always the plan or if there was confusion or any kind of confusion there. But I mean, I'm wondering if I don't know. Like, I highly doubt that EA has a plan to release the trilogy. I mean, they're putting 3 on there, and it wouldn't make sense. Of course, actually, I wouldn't put it by EA to rape us of our money for that first, and then, like, a couple months later put out the trilogy then, being like, oh, but this is what you wanted, and it's like, yeah, thanks. So that one, I won't put that by them one bit.
Yeah, what they'll probably do, too, is, like, the day after Mass Effect 3 comes out on the Wii U, they'll announce, oh, yeah, we're bringing the trilogy to the Wii U as well, so, too bad if you just paid for Mass Effect 3.
It does seem like it'll be a kind of cash grab thing, so yeah.
Okay, so moving on to launch window games. These include 007 Legends, Aliens Colonial Marines, Game & Wario, Lego City Undercover, Maiden, NFL 13, Marvel's The Avengers, Mass Effect 3, Monster Hunter 3, Nano Assault Neo, NBA 2K13, Pikmin 3, Rayman Legends, Tank Tank Tank, The Wonderful 101, Wii Fit U, and Zumba Fitness Core, of course, among other games.
Most important, I'm completely entertained by the fact that you called it Maiden.
I was going to comment on that.
I know it's Madden too. Like, how did I get that wrong? Oh God.
Oh, you're such a geeky girl.
Shush, 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 shush.
Maiden.
Okay, so a list of games that will come out after the launch window. These games include Bayonetta 2, Dragon Quest X, Slightly Mad Studios' Project Cars, the new Super Smash Bros. Game, Tom Clancy's Ghost Recon Online, which is currently on hold, an unnamed Crytek title, Dirt 3 and F1, and a new Monolith Soft IP, which is currently for Japan only. Also, Japan only for Dragon Quest X.
Especially after the whole Operation Rainfall thing, for them to go and just say, well, we're not bringing this over anymore, it would just be kind of like Nintendo would be asking to have everyone like freak out at them for that.
I think it's still a little early for us to get our panties up in a bunch, though, because I mean, it's definitely we don't know. You know, this is all still hearsay. I mean, there's still so much information on games we don't know that who knows what's gonna happen with that.
Yeah, not to mention, like, most games that are usually announced for Japan first usually later get announced for Western release, and since this game is like currently in development, it's definitely not something we should worry about just yet.
Yeah, so we have a lot of games. So I actually just want to ask you guys, what games are you guys most looking forward to, or what are you planning on picking up on day one?
Well, I already have the premium console itself pre-ordered, along with New Super Mario Bros. U and Rayman Legends and Nintendo Land, and Zombie U actually.
Are you getting that Zombie U bundle that's only coming out in like Europe or something?
Yeah, because it works out cheaper, even though I still have to buy Nintendo Land separately. It does come with a Pro controller, which I was going to pick up anyway, so it's quite good.
Cool. Games that I'm looking forward to, definitely Zombie U. That's my number one launch title, because it looks so, I guess, new, maybe? I don't know if that's the right word for it, but it just looks to be fun. And there's some indie game coming out on the eShop I can't remember the name of, that it's like a bird game. I don't know what it's called, but it's a game about birds.
Oh, Nano Assault?
No, it's not.
Or Tokitori 2?
It's...
Nano Assault, maybe?
What?
You're talking about the Nano Assault game?
No, it's some, like, bird flying game, and I don't know the name of it, but it looks really fun, and, yeah, so that would be one that I would also look forward to. Also, Train 2 looks good, but that's already out on everything else, so,
Yeah, I'm a broke college student, so it's definitely New Super Mario Bros. U and Nintendo Land for me for quite a while, at least until Christmas rolls around, and hopefully Rayman Legends will be out by then, since I believe it's a launch window title.
I swear, Rayman is...
Yeah, that's another one that was changed.
On the 13th, Rayman Legends was actually listed as a launch title, at least for Europe, so I don't know if it's coming out like a week later than the American release. But
because that was originally American release, no, it's not.
I don't know if they've changed it since the 13th, but it did say it was coming out the 30th, which is our release date over here.
Yeah, well, I mean, when you go on Nintendo.com and you click the game, it still only says launch window next to release date. At the same time, though, Rise of the Guardians, which releases the 20th, also says launch window next to its name. So there's still a huge possibility of a, 30th release date.
There's loads of games I want to pick up, though, like Monster Hunter 3 Ultimate. I have never played a Monster Hunter game before, but I thought that would be a good opportunity to get into it, because I was quite surprised when they announced announced it, because I didn't think they would bring a Monster Hunter game to the Wii U this early on. So I'll definitely be looking into that one.
Oh yeah, the Wii U is officially going to do very well in Japan simply because of the new Monster Hunter game.
Yeah.
Yeah, I remember when the game was announced at the Wii U conference. I was in Nintendo World at the time, and one of the employees was like behind the counter just dancing his butt off the entire time, like so excited about new Monster Hunter. So I think this is a game I'll definitely have to check out.
Oh, you haven't played it either, Noob?
Never.
Oh my god! Like honestly, like I know I posted on the forums, but one of the main reasons why I'm not too broken up about Nintendo Land not being online is because that's gonna give me a couple more months of having my soul intact before Monster Hunter 3 sucks it out, because I'll be able to play it online.
Yeah, I wanted to get the Monster Hunter on the Wii, but it's like, correct me if I'm wrong, but Ultimate is an improved version of that game, isn't it?
Yeah, it's just
Yes.
Yeah, so there would be...
It's much more than an HD version, though. Like, don't confuse people, because it is an HD remake or version of Monster Hunter Tri on the Wii, but you're actually the amount of monsters is like literally like you're gonna have almost like double to triple the amount of monsters they're adding in game. So the amount of content is there's gonna be tremendous more content otherwise you'd be missing out on if you don't get the new one.
Are they all just going to be color swaps though?
No, they have like all completely new monsters that they're coming out with. Like because in Monster Hunter you got like you have your large monsters, your mediums and stuff, and each range of monsters are going to have completely new models they're working out for. It's going to be all new stuff.
Okay, I didn't even know that. So that would be the version.
Yeah,
Yes.
it's like the definitive version for sure, especially running in HD. Because I mean, already even for Wii U, I mean, say what you want, but I mean, the Wii U does have some. I mean, look at Xenoblade Chronicles is one gorgeous looking game, regardless of the Wii U's power or lack thereof. And Monster Hunter Tri looks great, and in HD, it's gonna look even better. So.
Just to clarify, I think you meant the Wii. You kept saying Wii U.
Sorry, yeah, my bad. There's a lot of Wii's going on. Sorry.
It does get kind of confusing sometimes. What I'll be interested in is, well, we know Monster Hunter 4 is a 3DS game, but I would want to see what Capcom can do with like Monster Hunter 5 perhaps, and build it from the ground up for the Wii U, which I think could be an awesome chance to display what the hardware can actually do.
Oh yeah, Monster Hunter game built specifically for HD would be incredible.
And Mig, just because thinking of the eShop game that you're talking about is driving me nuts. Like, I'm looking through some of the eShop games, and like right now, some of the big ones that they have on here would be there's Chasing Aurora, Cloudberry Kingdom.
Where is the one?
Maybe now would be a good time to list off the digital games that were announced for the eShop for Wii U. So far, we have 1001 Spikes, Bit Trip 2, Cloudberry Kingdom, Marvel Pinball, Mighty Switch Force HD, Mutant Mudds Deluxe, Saber Rider and the Star Sheriffs, Tokitori 2, Trine 2 Director's Cut, Little Inferno, and Chasing Aurora, which is already mentioned. Yep.
Yeah, I gotta give a little bit of a shout out to Chasing Aurora, because that looks like so much fun. I can't wait to play that one.
Yeah, I mean, when you start thinking into this, on day one, I mean, most people talk about the retail games, but I mean, I want to try out most of the eShop games, so there's just so many games. I mean, and you know what, like, the fact that we're not getting Pikmin 3 right away, or a really huge Nintendo release outside of New Super Mario Brothers within the first, by March, honestly, that doesn't bother me, because there's so many games between the eShop and retail that are going to be able to keep me busy that it doesn't even bother me.
Yeah, a lot of my favorite games this gen have been downloadable games, so I'm really eager to see what they do with downloadable games on the Wii U.
Definitely, and I know there's a lot of rumored games too, Noon. What do you got for rumored games?
Oh, well, for rumored games, we have Battlefield 3, which was rumored to be in development. Then it was rumored to be cancelled with the team merging with the Battlefield 4 team. Then there's Medal of Honor Warfighter, which was spoken about at E3 2011, but we've heard no news since, and the game's actually coming out next month. Then, of course, there's Metro Last Light, which was an E3 demo game confirmed not actively in development. Then there's Shield Pose, which was another E3 demo game. Of course, there's the Legend of Zelda HD. There's the Nature Bird, which was shown off as a tech demo. And then there's the supposed source code leaked game from Sega called Demon Tribe.
Yes, I've heard of that. I'm actually most disappointed in Metro Last Light because, technically I'm a big PC gamer, so I could just play it on a computer, but I was actually kind of looking forward to what having it being played on with the Wii U game cab would brought, but it seems like we might not.
Yeah, I was rather shocked about that, because they did seem like... The fact that they announced it with the Wii U, and they were actually talking quite a bit about it at first, and then all the info just stopped all of a sudden. And then around E3 this year, they just deconfirmed it, and it really disappointed me, actually.
Yeah, that game actually looked like a lot of fun. I was looking forward to it. I probably won't buy it on any other platform if it doesn't come out, because I wasn't that excited about it, but if it were to be on Wii U, I would definitely go out of my way to pick it up.
Yeah, unfortunately. Also, just to add, there have been no games confirmed for the Near Field Communication, NFC, which is what McNaga was talking about earlier, and no announced game supports 2 gamepads as of now.
Wasn't Rayman Legends using the NFC?
Not yet. Yeah, you know what? Originally it was because if you guys remember the original trailer they played for where like those 2 guys and the girl were playing, they showed the one girl had a little heart like stuffed animal or something like a plushie, and she put it on the controller and hearts started raining down and healing the guys. So I mean, I think they definitely were. Maybe they decided to stop that and they're added in as DLC or something. Who knows?
Thing is, the one bad thing about that is if you end up like with a Skylanders type situation, if you guys know about that game, where they just outright go out and sell all these action figures and toys and stuff, and it's basically like physical DLC, and it gets a bit ridiculous with it. That is the only issue, and I would hate for that to ruin Rayman, so I'm not too disappointed with the lack of the NFC, but it depends how they were actually going to implement it.
It's really quick too to add on to the list. I know there have been other games rumored coming out for the Wii U, and one of the biggest ones recently that picked up is a French retailer has showing SKUs of Kid Icarus Uprising on the Wii U.
Oh, I forgot about that rumor, and I'm such a huge Kid Icarus fan too. I want it to happen. I don't think we'll ever see Uprising on the Wii U. I am kind of holding out in hopes that we'll see a Kid Icarus title sometime in the future.
I wouldn't want Uprising specifically, but I would love another Kid Icarus game designed specifically for the Wii U.
Yeah, I don't think an Uprising HD will ever happen. Well, not ever happen, but it won't happen for a while, because Nintendo has not really done the whole HD remake thing, and if they had, we would have had like 5 million versions of Ocarina of Time already. So that's kind of why I think that it won't happen, but they could prove me wrong.
Yeah. Plus also, I mean, after the 3DS version, I mean, he already said that they closed down, Project Sora, and he said, he had no ambitions to do any other Kid Icarus anytime soon. He didn't really say why, but so that's what he said anyways.
Oh, well, he actually did say why. He said that it was because that he had put so much effort into this Kid Icarus game that he had no sort of vision for a follow-up game. Yeah, in that respect, I'm actually grateful. But I'm hoping we'll get like a Luigi's Mansion situation and hopefully get a sequel.
Okay, I missed that. That makes sense, and I guess I can understand that. I mean, I think I'm kind of glad actually, because how many times have you seen games that kind of like the movies, like a sequel comes out and half the time it's not nearly as good because as soon as they're done, they're already drawn up on a drawing board for the next game, and a lot of these guys get thin on ideas and you end up getting a half-baked game.
I think there is going to be another Kid Icarus game sometime in the future. Whether it's going to be Wii U or 3DS, I don't know. But they have kind of established, like, Pit especially, as a proper modern Nintendo character. largely due to Smash Bros. But like, I think it would be kind of, fans would not be happy if they just left him in the dirt again. So I think they are going to make another game at some point.
I hope so. I was actually one of those original Kid Icarus fans who was waiting 20 years for this game release. So it'd be kind of a bummer if they kind of gave us that treatment again.
Oh, I agree. I think Pit's too big of a character to be able to just, back in the day, he was a staple for Nintendo. I mean, that's kind of like, that would be, leaving Mario off to the side. I mean, not quite to that extent, because he's not as big as Mario is, but, like, when you have these huge series, I mean, that's why, we're probably going to see a Metroid, because, like, these big titles, like, they can't afford to go generations without seeing major icons from their franchises.
Yeah.
I cannot wait HD.
I just had really quick other bring up too is now you did mention and we did hear that there is a CryEngine game in the works. I know I have been hearing that like Sniper Ghost Warrior 2 because I'm pretty sure that uses CryEngine. That's been rumored. I kind of hope that's not it because I really don't have much interest in it, but that has been talked about. Also, there's been rumors of BioShock Infinite coming. I know that's released, I think, early next year, but there's rumors of that coming out. And there's a couple other rumors that have been floating around out there with other games, but nothing is really worth bringing up since it's not off of like a major, it's not coming out of the mouth of someone big. But what do you guys think of? Did you guys see the post the other day? I think maybe it was. It might have been Iwata or Miyamoto saying that, or maybe it was even Reggie, that there are games that are coming out in the launch window that Nintendo still hasn't told us about yet.
Well, since the launch window is said to go up to March 2013, I believe, it's entirely possible, but we don't know if they're just talking about like small little shovelware games or if it actually is something decent, like something we can actually look forward to.
Yeah, I'm surprised that they haven't shown off all the launch titles, or not launch titles, excuse me, the launch games, because we kind of have to plan our buying schedules, I guess, and it would be best to let us know ahead of time what exactly is going to be available, but, I'm not a huge video game company executive, so...
Kind of basing this off of Nintendo's pattern, I think that we're not going to get any humongous title releases. Maybe like humongous third-party releases, but I don't think any of us should expect anything big coming out of Nintendo themselves. And if any sort of huge release is coming, it's definitely going to be from the third-party developers.
The possibilities, are there. When they say launch window, I definitely don't think any of the games that they haven't unveiled yet are going to be launched by the end of this year. But you look at like there's the rumor for BioShock Infinite, for instance, and that comes out early next year.
Another thing
came out and been like, oh yeah, this is coming.
Another
out.
game, I just thought of it. Metal Gear Rising comes out February, I believe, which is in the launch window. So yeah, it's entirely possible.
That's definitely that's already been. They said that. Kojima already said it's definitely not coming out.
Oh, god damn it.
Yeah, a lot of people got really excited, but no, it's definitely... Sorry, I did not mean to crush your dreams, but he did say it's not coming out. What I'm looking forward to, though, seeing is that new game that was announced. Was it by the Ninja Gaiden team? Or was it Capcom, maybe? That new Ninja game that, based off Ninja Gaiden. That new, that zombie, Ninja game looks pretty sweet. That'd be awesome if it's coming out. I forgot the name of it already.
That game does look really cool. It's being made by the guy who made Mega Man, right?
Yes, Keiji Inafune is doing that, so...
Yeah, that's pretty much an indication to me that it's going to be a great game. I really hope we hear about platforms for that sometime soon.
Yaiba Ninja Gaiden Z. They haven't showed platforms, but yeah, it's by Keiji Inafune, and that game does look actually pretty cool, and I'm hoping that since they are coming out with Ninja Gaiden on the Wii U, and they are skipping over Dead or Alive because they wanted to put all their work into that. I'm really hoping that there's a chance that Yaiba will be coming over, because that would be just fantastic.
Yeah, I hope it isn't like a Vita exclusive or something, because that would be the only way that I wouldn't get to play it. I'd love to see it on Wii U, though.
Also, what was the last thing, like I said, I brought it up earlier in the show, they said now, Retro, we all know Retro's working on something, Nintendo EAD is working on something, but the question is, what are they working on?
That's true.
Nintendo EAD is probably a 3D Mario game.
I would bet Zelda on EAD. Or Metroid, that would also be really cool.
The thing is, EAD isn't one developer, it's actually, there's multiple teams. So, I don't think the team that typically does 3D Mario is actually working on anything at the moment, so it's, and there was talk about it being, the 3D game being announced next E3 2013. So I will definitely be looking forward to that.
Yeah, also to add, you said Zelda. Considering how long Zelda games usually take to make, I think it's safe to say we won't be seeing one for quite a while. Sorry, Zelda fans. Yeah.
Yeah, I mean, unless they've been working on it for a long, unless they've been working on it.
I'm not sure if they would want to be working with it while Nintendo hardware was still changing. Though I can't see them doing that. I could see them starting development soon, maybe sometime before around this time, or sometime soon, if that makes sense.
Yeah, didn't Miyamoto say something about having a Zelda game in development?
I think he said it was in the planning stages, but I don't think it's in proper development yet.
No, we won't know. Yeah, I don't think that even that was verbatim. I don't think that was take this as gospel. It's still because all those rumors are popping around that we're gonna see Zelda in 2014. There was that rumor that's going to take place in between. Was it take place right before Wind Waker or something like that? So I mean, who knows?
That was a rumor years ago for a Wii game, Valley of the Flood, I think it was. So I don't know why it's coming back now.
The one that used that Final Fantasy screenshot as the saying it was a Zelda.
Yeah.
But so honestly, I think we can probably sit here and talk games and what we want to see all day. But how about, what do you guys think on the Wii U launch? How successful do you see the Wii U launching? What do you want to see? What are you looking at there?
Well, I think, given current sales numbers, that we have another Wii on our hands. If it's already sold out everywhere, I don't know if that's any indication of how small the first run of them are, or if that's it's a pretty normal first run and there's actually a huge number of them being sold. But I do think it's going to sell fairly well.
I think it will do good enough. I don't think we can predict entirely how successful it's going to be, because there were some rumors that Nintendo might be cutting down on supply a little bit to kind of give the image of it being in high demand. But I don't think, if they were doing that, I don't think they would go too much to the extreme. But they've got quite a solid launch lineup, so I think a lot of people actually are looking to get their hands on it, so it's entirely plausible that there really are that many people that are pre-ordering.
Yeah, quick confirmation. Wasn't the PS3 sold out before launch as well?
I think so.
So with that in mind, it's not uncommon for us to see sold out pre-orders on big name consoles. I don't think this should be something that's a criticism against Nintendo, regardless if it's a hype tactic. I will say, however, that Nintendo World recently halted deluxe Wii U pre-orders, and for them to halt pre-orders is pretty abnormal. So this is something that actually makes me really excited.
Wait, you're talking about the store in New York, aren't you?
Yeah, the Nintendo World by Times Square.
They were doing pre-orders?
Of course, it's Nintendo World. Why wouldn't they?
I thought they just sold merchandise and stuff.
No, they sell consoles.
Oh, I see. I've been wanting for the longest time for them to make a Nintendo World in London or something.
Yeah, unfortunately the one over here isn't all that great. They usually only sell mediocre merchandise.
I mean, Japan's got one, America's got one, I think Europe needs one of some kind.
I thought the not the U.S., the New York store was the only one.
Oh yeah, we are the only one in the
Yeah,
world.
but
It's only Nintendo World, but Japan does have like a Nintendo store. They
well,
also have
I
like,
think Japan has a Pokemon World, I think, which is pretty much the same thing.
it's the Pokemon Center.
Wasn't the Nintendo World a Pokemon thing as well before they changed it?
Yeah, it was a Pokemon
Yeah, we were actually.
Nintendo World.
Yeah, they actually recently demoted Pokemon into like the back aisles of the store now.
Yeah, it's just like that one corner.
Yeah.
Let's probably not try to stray away too off topic.
Yeah. Other thing is that I think the Wii U is looking good pre-orders, and I think the article came out today. If not today, it was very recent. Reggie was interviewed, and he said that we should not have to worry about the supply chain of Wii U's. He said they learned from the mistake with the Wii, and there's going to be plenty of systems. So, I mean, from what he's saying is that, yeah, these are pre-ordering that fast. So that's, to me, that's what that says. And if they're going to keep restocking soon, I mean, yeah, we can see Wii U sales on a cataclysmic scale of like how the Wii was, but better. I mean, because you know that, I mean, all the Nintendo faithful are going to be getting it that can afford it right off the get-go. There's going to be a ton of people who aren't going to get it until Christmas or for tax returns. So, I mean, I think, you know, you're going to see huge numbers move on that, especially, you know, here in Japan. I think they're still available most places in the UK from what I read, but and over in Europe. But I think it's gonna go really well. And my next question to you guys is, what do you think Nintendo has to, or what do you think they need to do to really make this a successful launch? And, you know, what do you think they need to achieve in the first year of the system's lifespan to really keep it going?
Yeah, I definitely think that they need to continuously hit us with like huge blockbuster third party titles and good ones too, like those kind of replicated on the 360 and PS3. Like we didn't get to see this exactly, and if they keep it coming, I definitely think that Nintendo is going to be safe for a bit.
Yeah, I think all they really need to do is just get third-party games, and they have a lot of hardcore gamers very happy. Because the biggest problem with the Wii was, yeah, you could play those first-party Nintendo titles, and that's like the only reason people owned it, because you couldn't play, you know, the new Battlefield or the new Metal Gear on the Wii, because it wasn't powerful enough. So, as long as they can keep that third party on there, I think a lot of hardcore gamers are going to be really happy with it.
What I think they're going to need to do though is, third party is great, but people are expecting those more of the more impressive Nintendo franchises in there. I mean, they're going on a lot about how NSMBU is a launch title and everything, but it's like most people, it's more about like the 3D Mario that gets people most excited. Because New Super Mario Bros., you already know what to expect with it, even if it is a fun game. Whereas when Galaxy was announced, everyone went absolutely crazy. There was so much hype because it was just such a new thing. And I think they need something like that for the Wii U within the next year to get like all that hype going again.
The thing is, Nintendo's focus is getting back the gamers they lost on the Wii, and to do this, they need to focus on third-party titles. First-party IPs are amazing, and I can't wait for them. But for the first year, third-party definitely needs to take the spotlight first-party IPs usually take from them. We're getting Game & Wario, Pikmin 3, maybe one more, if even that much would be sufficient. I mean, they already have their gamers, and they need to reach out for the rest. Nintendo has a goal, and they really need to push themselves aside to reach that goal.
Yeah, I think that's mostly been their intention since you look at the launch and they've mostly cleared it out for the third parties. Because most of the games I've been wanting for it are actually third party games. So I think they're doing a good job so far, but they do need a couple of first party titles here and there, like over throughout 2013 and everything, just to like keep the Nintendo fans interested. Because third party games are always good, but you need those exclusives to get people really hooked on the system.
I'm sure they will. I mean, you look at a lot of systems. I mean, a lot of systems don't end up launching with some of them don't get any blockbusters in the first like 6 months to a year. And I'm really glad you brought this up, Nuna, because I've been preaching this for a long time to a lot of people that, I mean, Nintendo has a history of pretty much screwing Microsoft and Sony, and back in the day it was Sega. By Sony would be like, this is our release date. We're releasing said game. It's gonna be so great, hype, hype, hype. And Nintendo's like, oh, about that, we're releasing this game, which actually is kind of like the game you're releasing, but it's better, and ours is gonna sell better, and everyone forgets about it. And the downside is Nintendo also a lot of times does that on their own systems, where a big third-party title comes out and Nintendo will release Zelda or something else, and the other title just gets thrown in the back. And I agree that Nintendo's focusing on third-party, and like this is gonna, all the sales are really gonna come from third-party games. I mean, outside of New Super Mario Brothers and Nintendo Land, and being that Nintendo Land's a pack-in, it's not going to fully show how many people have actually bought or have that game. But this is going to really help with third party. Pikmin 3 is coming out, and I think that we will see some really big Nintendo announcements. And I can definitely see some big games for next holiday season on the Nintendo slate. But this is a very good move for them, and I think it's something that they're going to have to carefully plan their releases to stay away from third-party releases. And I think if we have a strong third-party release, strong sales all through these holidays, with like Zombie U, Darksiders, and Batman, if people can see, hey, wow, these ports that are already out for other games are selling great, imagine what a Wii U specific game or a new game would sell as. And Nintendo is very smart by doing this, and I think it's going to work out.
Yeah, I think the Wii U launch titles they did a brilliant job of balancing the third party to first party kind of thing. Like, the first party is there, but it doesn't outshine the third party titles completely. So I think that's like the perfect balance you can get in terms of first party and third party.
Yeah, I think everyone's hoping, and I think it's going to turn out pretty well. So yeah, definitely. Really quick, switching modes here is MIG. I know one of the things we want to cover in the podcast is upcoming games, demos. We also want to talk about some sleeper games that maybe you guys haven't been looking forward to or even know about that you should know about. So we're going to kind of switch into that, and MIG actually has, maybe all of you haven't played the Resident Evil 6 demo, or maybe some of you have, but MIG has, and he's checking it out, and he has some stuff to talk about.
Oh yeah, I definitely have a lot to talk about with this game. Has anybody else here played the demo for it yet?
Well, I'm not too big on the horror genre, but I did watch a bunch of friends play it, and I definitely have a lot of opinions based on what I saw from them. Really quickly, I wanted to add, though, that the demo is available for the Xbox 360. I'm not too sure about the PS3, though.
Actually, I couldn't find it on the 360. I downloaded it on my PS3. I originally defaulted to my 360 because I have a lot more memory on there, but I clicked on the little icon to download the demo, and it said something like it wasn't there or something. I don't know what the deal with that was.
Oh, well, at least now there's confirmation for demos available on both 360 and PS3.
Yeah, I definitely have a lot to say about that. And before I start, I want to outline kind of the structure that we'll be going through in terms of reviewing games and demos. Noon outlined a kind of specific way of doing things, in which we talk about the graphics first, the music second, the gameplay third, story and characters fourth, fifth would be the overall strong points and weak points, and sixth would be the conclusion/final rating. And I like that idea, so I'm going to stick to it. I don't know if you guys are going to, but yeah, here we go. So anyways, I want to start off by saying I had fairly low expectations going into this, because I was not impressed by what I saw in the trailers. It did not look like a horror game to me, and spoilers, yeah, it was not a pleasant demo, in my opinion. So anyways, the graphics in the game, absolutely fine. There's no problems there. It's obviously a very high priority for Capcom to pump money into, so the graphics look great. The music, I don't really remember the music, so I'm going to assume it wasn't entirely memorable, but wasn't entirely bad either. And now onto the gameplay, which is probably my biggest gripe with it, and probably the biggest disappointment is I didn't feel scared during the demo at all, even during the Leon campaign, which a lot of people are touting as like the scary, classic Resident Evil campaign, and I didn't get that sense at all. So that was a disappointment. One thing that I found was really strange was they've actually changed the way the camera operates. And now instead of, how in classic Resident Evil games are 4 and 5 anyways, you have the laser pointer and you can kind of aim that way. It's actually a reticle now instead of, being able to aim all over the place. And it plays more like a conventional third-person shooter, which was a big disappointment to me because I love the, classic, or not classic, but the 4 and 5 way of doing things. I'm trying to think here. The Leon campaign was probably the best, regardless of, or not regardless, but it was the best because it felt more like Resident Evil of the past, even though it still didn't feel very much like it at all. In my opinion, I don't know if I'm explaining this very well, but it just didn't feel like a Resident Evil game, and that's what my big gripe with it was. What was I going to say? One thing that I found interesting was, what was I going to say? The 3 campaigns, which, the 3 campaigns were kind of interesting, and I like the way that it spreads things out, but at the same time, it's still not my favorite way of handling things. I like kind of one campaign, I guess, but that's probably just a gripe that I have with it, so I'm not really going to complain too much about it.
I guess just kind of to clarify, the first campaign is based off the survival horror angle that the original series was based off of. The second campaign is geared more like Resident Evil 5, FPS style, I'm assuming, and then the third campaign is more Revelation style, which is like an orgy of both.
Yeah, that is correct. However, I still didn't get that sense. It all felt like 5 to me, which was a big disappointment. I forgot to mention one thing. I didn't feel like there was one exception to this, but I'll explain that later. I didn't feel like I actually had to fight enemies. I felt like I could just run past them and there was no consequence to it. Like, I would pick up ammo, yeah, but I had plenty of ammo anyways, and if I wasn't shooting them, or the zombies, then I didn't need to pick up any ammo. So that was kind of a strange thing. There was one point in Leon's campaign where you did need to fight zombies. You were in a locked hallway on both ends, and they were pouring in through the windows, and you had to wait for Hunnigan to unlock one of the doors on one of the ends. And that part was actually probably the highlight of the demo, in my opinion, because it was the closest I got to being actually scared, because I was running low on ammo and health, which didn't happen at any other point in the campaign. Or not the campaign, the demo. But, yeah. Another thing that I also found really strange was the way they handled the health in the game. Instead of just like a bar, like it is in the previous games, it's actually like 6 little fragments that all add up into one bar, but it seemed like each attack took one sliver of health away, and you could see exactly how much an enemy attack was going to do. So it didn't really leave that uncertainty of, if I have this much health, is this attack going to kill me? Or, that kind of thing that 4 and 5 did really well, in my opinion. And that I just found strange. And, I think that's all it is on the gameplay front. Sorry for rambling, but I had to say something about that. The story and characters, it didn't really give all that much story in the demo, which I guess is okay. And the overall strong points and weak points of the game, I'll start with the weak points because that's going to be the longer section. The weak points was I didn't feel scared, which is kind of a disappointment. I also didn't like the way the camera operated, but that's also not a huge deal. But it is kind of a disappointment. I didn't really feel like there was a need to fight any actual enemies, and I forgot what I was going to say, so never mind. The strong points would probably be the graphics, which were really, really well done, and they were pretty well detailed. And another thing that I thought was kind of well done is, I guess, the music. Even though I said I don't really remember it, I'm just going to assume it was okay, because the previous Resident Evils all have fairly good music. So, yeah, if I had to give a score for this demo, I would probably give it a 6, because it felt like a generic third-person shooter. And yeah, sorry for rambling about that, but it just kind of, I was very disappointed with it, and I went in with low expectations.
Yeah, Leon's campaign seems to be based off what the series once was to satisfy those fans. On the other hand, Chris's campaign seems to want to satisfy the fans of Resident Evil 5. I feel like maybe Capcom is trying to please everyone, but because these are like two completely separate identities, I feel like they're going to end up alienating these varied gamers. Someone who may dislike one style is going to feel really, really burdened when they have to play through that style to get the story. I also think this is just a really lazy way of attempting to satisfy everyone. I don't know. Do you think Capcom is going to succeed in making everyone happy, or would you agree with me?
Yeah, I think the 3 different campaigns are definitely going to be a problem. In their attempt to try and make everybody happy, they really haven't made any of the fans happy. It all plays like 5, which I guess if you're a fan of 5, you'll like this game because it's more action-oriented. But anybody who doesn't like 5 is probably not going to enjoy this game very much. And I think the way Revelations actually handled things in terms of just having one campaign, but kind of jumping in between characters and like leaving one character's campaign on a cliffhanger. And even there, they did the kind of different campaigns for different characters. Like the Curse campaign was a little more action-oriented, at least towards the beginning. And the Jill campaign was a lot more horror-related. And I thought they did that really, really well. So I'm not sure why they decided to scrap that and just go with 3 different campaigns.
What I don't seem to understand is that the third campaign is just that. It's the fusion of the two. It's Revelation style gameplay. Why are you going to introduce 2 different gameplay styles and then have the third campaign a fusion? This makes no sense to me, and I really do wish the game just was a whole fusion in itself. Make a console Revelations-based game, you know? I feel like at this point, Capcom is trying to satisfy the new fans they brought in through RA5 and the old fans, as opposed to like just making a good Resident Evil game. It's kind of sad.
Yeah, I don't understand why they don't just make a new IP that is the kind of game that they want to make and just leave Resident Evil alone. It just it doesn't seem like a good idea, because I know a lot of fans are not happy with the way 6 is going, and it's kind of going to destroy the brand if they ever want to try and actually bring it back. Now that they've done 5, which was not very well liked by fans, and this one I can tell already isn't going to be particularly well loved, because it actually drove me away from buying the game. I was actually kind of anticipating it a little bit, and now I have no interest in picking it up at launch.
I'd say it's kind of sad to hear that. I mean, like, I haven't tried the demo. I really don't have much interest, honestly. Like, for me, like, I mean, I played I played Resident Evil 1 and 2 and Nemesis when they came out on PlayStation, and I mean, Resident Evil 4 was great. I honestly, though, I did not like 5. I mean, I don't know. I know, like, I don't know, like, things like, things like mature and change through time. They say, and they don't want to keep it the same, but like when they moved away from the freaky, the zombies and moving towards more like the virus and just how they change gameplay. Like, I don't know. I don't care for it. I didn't like the last one, and I'm not looking forward to this one at all.
I'm not exactly a Resident Evil fan, but it's a real shame to just see that kind of happen to a series where it gets taken in an entirely different direction. And I'm really wondering where Resident Evil is going to go after 6. Like, if Capcom is actually going to realise people aren't too fond of what they're doing with it, or if they're just going to... if it does that badly, you could see them possibly kind of killing off, so to speak, the brand, kind of like how they've done with Mega Man, and just like throwing it off to the side and just not really talking about it again, which I don't think anyone wants to happen, but it could if it gets that badly received.
Yeah, I really hope this game just bombs for Capcom, because it will send them the message that we do not want this kind of Resident Evil, and maybe like they will take a break with it. It will be like 5 years before we see another Resident Evil game, and then Resident Evil 7 will come out, and it'll be this great, return to form kind of game, and everybody will love it, and everything will be fixed. But I really doubt that will happen.
What's the release date on that? And it's coming out for PS3 and 360. And what do you guys know what the release date is?
Yeah, so Resident Evil 6 will be available in stores on October 2nd. By the time this podcast is released, it might already be in stores, but still be sure to check it out for sure. Or not, depending on what your opinion is.
So if you want to know my opinion, don't buy that game. Alright, so I know you guys want to talk about something else after I rambled on about Resident Evil, so...
I think what me and Ashley wanted to cover really quick is we were talking about other stuff that we can preview other than like demos and upcoming games, but also wanted to do sleeper hits, and 3DS has Code of Princess coming out, and that's coming out on October 9th in the US, and I think that's it. I don't know if it has a UK release date or not. I know it came out in April.
Yeah, which is rather a shame for me, because after I heard you guys talking about it, I was going to look into it, but apparently it's not coming out here.
At least not yet. I mean, it came out in April in Japan, and it just came out, or it's coming out the 9th of October, and this is probably my most hyped 3DS game to date. It is developed by Agatsuma Entertainment, and actually a lot of the animation is done by Bones, which is actually, for anyone who's an anime fan, you'll know Bones actually does the animation for lots of anime. They do like Roxaphion. They also do, I think they did a couple other ones. I can't think of any at the time right now, but I know they did a bunch. It's also published by Atlas, and what's great about this game is this is kind of a spiritual successor for Guardian Heroes, which was one of my favorite Sega Saturn games. This is a hack and slash RPG action game. For the most part, there's going to be 4 main characters that you play as, and what makes this game unique is you jump in between the levels. Basically, there's 3 different planes you can be on, like the background, the middle ground, and the foreground. There's going to be enemies coming at you from all directions, and you're going to be going crazy, just kicking the crap out of stuff. You're going to level up your characters, get new skills. This game, unfortunately, there's no demo for the tryout first, but trust me, growing up with the Sega Saturn and playing Guardian Heroes, it's by the same guys, and it's going to be phenomenal. You're going to like it. I think it's a sleeper hit for sure that everyone needs to check out. It also is going to support online and local multiplayer. Up to 4 players can play at once. What's really cool about it is, even though in the main storyline you play as 4 characters, there's actually 50 different characters you can play as online, and there's, on top of the story mode, there's 100 co-op quests that you can go through. So I really urge everyone to check this game out. If you like quirky Japanese games, you like beat-em-ups, this will be a good game for you. Also, if you pre-order it, you will get a bonus of a art book and a CD soundtrack. I already have mine pre-ordered. I think you guys should check it out. Again, it's Code of Princess, October 9th on the 3DS.
I've been looking at that game. It looks really fun. Unfortunately, I can't get a launch, but I do plan on picking it up later down the line. Is there online for that game? at all?
Yes, as I said, there's going to be local and there is online as well. So I know like Noon said she's planning on picking it up. So like if you got it, then the three of us can hook up over the internet and we can beat the crap out of the game.
I would love to play this, so I'll be keeping my eye on it if there is ever going to be a European release. But I do kind of have my doubts. But I don't know. This stuff just kind of happens sometimes. Where it just we do not get games sometimes, and this used to be so much worse a long time ago.
Not just you, man. I mean, you look at how many games that Japan gets compared to both of us in general, and there's so many Japanese games, especially because I love quirky Japanese games, and a lot of them don't make it over here. And I am super surprised that this is coming out over here, and I'm so excited. And I think if this is received well, because the next game, like, I really want to see come out, I really, really want Project X Zone to come out for the 3DS, which is like the Sega Namco Bandai Capcom crossover, and I'll be so upset if that doesn't make it out over here, and I'll also be really upset if like Bravely Default doesn't come out over here. There's just so many good games that they're all hoarding to themselves that need to come out in the States and in the UK.
Yeah, I think one of the guys who's working on Project X Zone actually said that there could be a localization at some point, but they haven't said anything official.
Yeah, he said he wants it to be, and they're looking out for it. But on that note, unfortunately, I don't know, something happened to Nuda's microphone. Her microphone seemingly blew up or something. She's disappeared, so...
Shall we wrap this up ourselves?
Do we have anything else to talk about today?
To do the overview of next month's games.
Thank you, Deadly. I was just going to bring that up. So, Deadly, why don't you go ahead? You can read off those games if you want.
Well, as we were talking about earlier, first up, big release at the start of the month, Resident Evil 6 on October the 2nd, same for EU. You already know our thoughts on that game, so don't get yourself too hyped. Code of Princess on October 9th, no EU release date unfortunately. Dishonored on October 9th US and October 12th for EU, which I am actually looking forward to that game, so I may pre-order that if I have the money. 007 Legends for PS3 and 360 on October 16th and October 19th. Obviously, Wii U version doesn't come out for a good few months yet, so depends. If you want to pick that up for the other systems, go ahead. But Medal of Honor Warfighter on October 23rd and October 25th, which is meant to have a Wii U version, but they have not talked about it, which is not a happy thing for me. Forza Horizon on October 23rd, which I don't know why they just didn't call that Forza 6 or 5 or whatever it was, but whatever. Zero Escape Virtue's Last Reward, is that? October 23rd. I've heard a lot of good things about that game, I may pick it up. Assassin's Creed 3 PS3 and 360 versions on October 30th and 31st. If I get that, I'm either getting it for PC or Wii U, so that doesn't interest me too much. And Professor Layton in the Miracle Mask on October 28th and 26th. Are any of you guys Layton fans? I've played one of them a few years ago, I think, but I never really owned one of them myself.
Yeah, I had never played Professor Layton, and Sushi is a huge Professor Layton fan. She has pretty much all of them, but she doesn't have a 3DS yet, so she'll probably be hijacking mine when the Miracle Mask comes out.
And lastly, Dragon Ball Z Connect, which is a hilarious game. I saw a trailer that made me laugh my ass off. On October 31st and October 2nd for EU. Wow, we get it so much earlier. Hooray.
I have a feeling that game is going to do very well just because people want to see how horrendous it's going to be.
Yeah, it looks ridiculous in every way, shape, and form.
It's a shame because they could have made a pretty decent game for the Kinect around DBZ, and I think they just kind of blew it by making this just awful stuff. It could have been a lot better with all the crazy moves there are in the Dragon Ball series. It's funny what they did with it, but at the same time, it's just disappointing.
I was just going to be really quick because Nuna died on his first couple seconds, but she's back again. And I know she's also looking forward to Coda Princess after I talked about it, so I just wanted to get her thoughts on that.
Sorry about that, guys. I'll be very quick with this. There's a couple of things about the game that make me really excited. The first being that it's very reminiscent of the Yu Yu Hakusho game on the Genesis, and of course that its spiritual predecessor is Guardian Heroes, a game that I greatly enjoyed, but seeing as it was on the Sega Saturn, I'm pretty sure Tricky already spoke about it. The second thing being the fact that Studio Bones, who has worked on Professor Layton vs. Ace Attorney, is working on it. They're my favorite anime developer, having animated Full Metal Alchemist, Wolf's Rain, and the Cowboy Bebop movie. The third thing is the surprising online feature. A lot of forum members are riled up about it, and it looks really good. Kid Icarus was attached to me for months because of its online, so if this proves to be as addicting as that, then I'll be one very happy customer. I'll be sure to give it my review on it next time for sure.
One of the things that we wanted to do on the show was, since we are all members on the Wii U forums, and if you're not, you should be too, should note too, I believe we did pick a podcast hosting site that we're going to upload it on as well as have it on YouTube. So we will link it in the Wii U forums. So if you're not part of it, you should join it. And we did talk about how we wanted to do a comment of the week.
So the way this is going to work is that comment of the week is going to be any comment or response to this podcast on the thread. We're going to post anything we like or anything that particularly stands out, like sort of if you have a retort towards anything we've said. We're going to choose our favorite ones and we're going to mention it in our next podcast kind of as a shout out. But seeing as this is our first podcast, is there any comment on the forums that you guys want to give a quick shout out to now? It does not have to be podcast related.
I totally forgot about that, so I didn't think of getting one prepared.
All right. Well, I it's not a comment, but I did want to bring up props and much loathing to Mitch13 Pavel for rickrolling everybody on the forums. Today he made a post. It wasn't even a post, it was a status update saying that some big news that Nintendo had, and then you click on it only to be rickrolled. So mad props to Mitch13 Pavel for rickrolling the entire Wii U forum community. You're a jerk. But I'm just joking. Because
the moment I saw that post, I knew exactly what it was going to be. I saw that coming from a mile away.
So yeah, come join our Wii U forum family and deal with being rickrolled. That's pretty cool, right?
Yeah, the WiiU.com. Join it and have fun with us all forever.
So yeah, so I guess we're gonna sign off, guys. I apologize. This is our first podcast, so it's pretty rough, but bear with us. Hopefully you enjoyed everything we talked about. If you join up the forums, definitely post stuff. Give us ideas. What do you want to hear about? Yeah, I'm sure future posts from this point on hopefully will be a lot better. And just give us a chance. We'll grow and become much better than we are now.
Yeah, one thing I want to add real quick is the fact that this week it was kind of scripted. We needed to know, basically what we're going to talk about, and from now on it'll be a lot more just free to just kind of go on and do anything we really want to. This episode was just kind of setting up what we wanted to talk about and all that fun stuff. So, yeah, next episodes will be a lot more interesting in terms of actual content.
Definitely, and hopefully Soul will be with us next week, not next week, but next podcast, as you said, Soulburst. We'll also have Blake on the show as well. I just want to say, please, guys, don't, if you're on the forums, please don't ask to be a guest on the show. We are going to approach people that we want to have on. We do kind of have a list of people we want to have on to talk about different things. Hopefully, as the podcast grows, we'll, have a lot more cool stuff. We'll be just much more fun to listen to. Again, I hope you guys enjoyed it now. And our next podcast, as Mig said, is going to be Pokemon themed to commemorate Pokemon Black and White 2, which comes out October 7th. So, yeah.
Alright, and I think that's it. So, we'll see you guys later. Brio.
Yeah. Thanks for listening to We Talk, You Listen, because you should, because we're cool. This is Tricky.
This is Mig.
This is Deadly Virus.
And this is Nuna Bites.
So see you later.